Hi, Janice. Hi, Kathy. Can you guys hear me okay? Hi, Linda. I'm so happy to see you here. I just posted this over on our scrapbookers, so I'll wait and we'll let some more people join us and then we'll get started. Hi, Chris. And for those of you that have joined Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations on Facebook, thank you. And also, that is where you're going to find the prior our prior calendars because we did these, we've been doing these since February of this year. Hi, Mary Beth. We've been doing it since February. And also your calendars are going to be in our files. There's a file tab in Scrapbookers and you can print them out whichever orientation you like. And I do use different ones for each month. And I'm just going to be gluing mine down, but if you're planning on doing these for a yearly gift and then giving them to someone with the frame, you just want a 12 by 12 frame. You may not want to put the calendars down and you may want to get some corner tabs that they can change it because I did put 2020 up. So 2020 is up, but I wanted to print these out and I just used the craft cardstock. This isn't as heavy and you can just pick this one up at your office supply store. And I want to show you how I cut them because I had some people ask me if I cut the months off and I don't. So, well, sometimes I do, like on this one. So we are going to start. We're going to back up. I know a lot of you were waiting for me to do September, and then we went on the cruise for the crafting cruise. So we didn't do it, and I kind of left you guys on your own. I apologize. But we're going to get started with this. And I did use the Simple Stories. Let me get there. So it absolutely is gorgeous, Autumn Splendor. I think it's got to be one of the prettiest fall papers that came out. And it is available at countrycraftcreations.com. But I'm going to also use the 6x8 paper pad. And if you're new to following me with live, this is a great idea for using up your scraps. But also, I'm going to be using some of the 6x8 from the Simple Stories. Simple Stories also has a 6x8 paper pad. And there are some things that are a little bit different. They do some printing on there, and it's really cute. I love this. And I'm going to be using a little bit of the Fall Farmhouse, which is the other line. And here on YouTube, I did do a video with the banner, but we're going to be using a little bit of both. One reason, I don't have any more of the chipboards of my own, and I didn't want to run out to the warehouse. Oh, because we've got to catch up. And so I'm going to be using some of the Fall Farmhouse. And again, if you are new, I do have my studio. It's down here. My dogs come with me. So you're going to hear them, especially Wilbur. And he's already started. And I apologize. I'll try and keep him as quiet as possible. A temporary tape runner is wonderful too for that. And then we're going to move into our October. It really doesn't take very long, I promise. But I'm going to give you all the measurements as we go. So the first thing we start out with our calendars is always a 12 by 12. I don't always use the artisan cardstock. Sometimes I use, you're going to see what I use on the Halloween one is different. And then I'm using the coordinating cardstock that goes to the Fall Farmhouse. I'm going to take that bowl away from him. He has a long ways to come, and he goes upstairs, he gets his empty bowls, and he throws them around. So this is just the coordinating cardstock, the green that goes with your Fall Farmhouse. And I'm doing a triple matting with this. And to give it more of a layered look, I used opposite colors in this one. I don't always use the same. I'll do the sample, but I like to do it different. I try to keep it about the same, but to give you different ideas. So you can look at this one, or you can just use the scraps that you have. But for the second layer, it's 11.5 by 11.5. And I'm going to go ahead and ink the edges as we go on each size. So also, where you're new, if you're new to my tutorials, if you've been on Scrapbookers, you kind of know the routine. Have a notebook. I don't always have the written measurements, so it really is best for you to write them down as we go. So we start with 12 by 12, whichever color you'd like in the back. Then we're going to go to 11.5 by 11.5. And again, you don't have to put a calendar on this. Now, it would be really cute to either do the kids or the grandkids to give this as a gift if you want to keep it 12 by 12. And instead of a calendar, you can put a picture there. Oh, how cute. Poor kitty. So you can choose which side. I'm going to do the plain, and this one is 11.25 by 11.25. No, Wilbur's not hungry. Hi, Janice. Wilkes, we have two Janice. Wilbur's not hungry. I fed him before we started in hopes that he would go to sleep, and he is going to sleep now, so. Just so he's not making noises. That's all I care about. So I don't know where my tape runner. I do have a temporary tape runner, and they are nice. And I also want to show you something. You can cut this smaller if you want to go 11 by 11 to give more color. You certainly can. And it really isn't going to change the measurements for these guys. Hi, Tanya. I don't, and this is just kind of an extra show because the calendar is usually once a month, but we got behind. So I'll usually only be here on Thursdays, maybe. Trying to get that as centered as possible. It's a little off, but we're going to be okay. And then, because it's Friday night, we also have some grandkids here, so you might hear some feet running up and down the hallway where my studio is. And the polka dots will go down because we're going to have enough pattern in just a moment with the papers. And once again, 12 by 12 and then 11.5 by 11.5 and then 11.25 by 11.25. And these are just kind of like puzzle pieces when I design them each month. I just cut, actually I have just a bunch of sizes, and I start laying them down and deciding what I want my month to look like. And so far we've basically done it different every single month. And if you want to catch up, you can definitely watch the files on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations, because that's where they were. And we're going to start with the background pieces. Again, this one has I have 11, Robin, so I'm catching up to you. This is the ivory in the background, and I used a blush color that is part of this farmhouse line. I've changed it though because I'm just using my scraps. And then we'll go with the pattern paper. So if you want to write these down, I'm going to give you all the measurements for those on our calendar. You're going to have one piece that is 3.5 by 3 5/8. It's just slightly bigger. 3.5 by 3 5/8 is your first piece. Then we have two pieces, so you'll sort of know what these are. These two, the first one I gave you, the 3.5 by 3 5/8, that is what my calendar is going to sit on. Ooh, have we got a pretty moon tonight? Of course, it's not here yet. Then we have two pieces that are 3 3/8 by 3 3/8. They're going to be those squares. So let me lay that out to kind of give you a visual. These three are the same size on this one. So I simplified it because I knew we were going back, and I kind of needed something that was a little bit easier so we could go a little quicker. And it's 3 5/8 by 6 7/8. And you have three of those. 3 5/8 by 6 7/8. And here's somewhat of the layout. Let's see, one is larger by just a hair. That's the calendar. When we make these, the main thing you want to keep is your straight lines. That's what kind of brings it all in together. To give you an idea of the layout. This is where I did some changing because, like I said, the 6x8 pad is a little different. So I did use, instead of the blush, this is blush behind there, it's hard to see. I use this antique gold. And you have two pieces that are going to be 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. The calendar, I did not triple mat. And then we have three pieces that are going to be 3 1/4 by 6 5/8. And totally up to you if you want to use your polka dot side or your plain side or do a mixture. And we'll cut the calendar out here in just a minute. Now we want to do the matting that's going to go on top. And this is where I did a few changes. I have the 6x8 pad, which was smaller. I just loved the pumpkins. But I have to show you this one piece from the 6x8 pad. This was one of the 6x8 sheets. And I thought, how pretty is that? And I don't even have to, we're not even really going to have to decorate it. So I cut it at 3, these are all 3 inches by 6.5. So you do want to watch your pattern. You need to make sure it's going the correct directions. And then I wanted to stick with the same theme. And this was off the 12x12 sheet. Oh, hi, Sandy. Thank you. Well, you have a wonderful night out eating. From the Autumn Splendor, this was the 12x12, and I did cut into it to keep this scene because that's where I added the glossy accents to make it look like an actual embellishment there. So I changed the bottom, and again, these are 3 by 6.5. That's not what I changed the bottom to. Actually, I changed it to a wood grain, which is on the 6 by 8 pad. A little different than your 12 by 12. And I'm going to use that down at the bottom. And our same 2 little squares here, but I may change them. They are 3 by 3. I might just change them to the pumpkins. So I hope I went slow enough so everybody could get the measurements. Now you can kind of see how everything will layer out. And we just want to cut the calendar now. Oh, the calendar does have, we need to do just a matting with our pattern paper. And I hadn't cut that yet because I wasn't sure what I wanted to use. Oh, and also, let me get our calendar. Not knowing which one actually that I was going to use, if it was going to be the vertical, but of course this one's too big. So when you cut these, after you print these off, and I just print them, oh, we're doing September, I try to print the whole year and keep it in a file. But then sometimes I decide I want it on different paper. So it gets printed on a different color. And these are free to use because I got them from printacalendar.com, and it's a free use website. And so you're welcome to print these off of our site and use them. Now on this one, I want to keep September on there. So I'm going to go as close as possible without taking off any wording. Hi, well, welcome. And you want to, like I said, these are yours to use. There's no stipulation on that website. The calendars are free, but you have to generate them and make them. So I did make 2020s for everybody, and they are in the files at Scrapbookers. Now, I knew that this was going to be probably pretty much side to side, and I left mine like that, and I'll show you. But you definitely can change the size, but I made it the same width as the pattern paper then. So now we can measure the pattern paper because we know what size our calendar is. So the calendar is 3 3/8, but we need a different length. So 3 1/4. Let's go ahead and use that one. So 3, which is the other half. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong. That is pretty though. That is really pretty. We're going to use that. So now I don't want to cut that one. I'll go ahead and use this one. 3 3/8. It won't be big enough. By 3 1/4. Hi, Angela. Well, so far everybody seems good. It is Friday, and that means we get to spend the weekend hopefully crafting or getting ready for winter because here in Utah, it's really cold. And again, let's put that down. So 3 3/8 by 3 1/4. Calendar is going to go side to side. So we'll have pattern paper top and bottom. And now I like to just start and ink all my edges. Doesn't take as much long at all. Oh, okay. Oh, it takes 30 minutes. You must be going to some place really good to eat. I'm just using the sepia vintage photo. Any color walnut would look really great. And for those of you that have been following along doing the year calendar over on Facebook with us, we're back on schedule now. So I'll also get it on the 23rd of October. We'll be doing the November calendar. And I'm going to probably do November's and December's at the same time now that all the papers are here, so that you guys will be ready. And actually, we might get January's in there to catch up because we started in February of last year. I'm just kind of keeping things where they belong. Don't you just love these sponges? So I have to come over to the side because my sponge is going everywhere. And I am going to do the edges of my calendar. And if you want to get caught up on these, just head on over to Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations on Facebook. And you can go back into the files because I know everybody out there, you have plenty of scraps of paper. As you can see, it doesn't take a lot. And this is a really neat gift. Thanks for, oh, I can't wait to see it. But see, it's still sunny and bright here in Utah because it's only 5:30. This is one of those handmade gifts my mother gets every single year. She's 80. How old am I? She's 30 years older than I. She's 87. And she looks forward to this every year. It started when Graphic 45 used to have their, Sandy will remember the flip pads, which they don't have anymore. And I used to do a calendar every year for her, and she loved it. The best thing to do is now we're going to put all of our pieces together. Before we put them down. Nancy, I want to, but I wonder if everybody will be okay with that, or if you want me to use some different papers, because I really want to. I'm using it on the October. So I was thinking of, yes, using it. And you'll see the October, I'm using the October from the new Authentique calendar line. It's so cute. Hi, Mary Jane. Oh, yeah, it's pretty cold. Last night, it was freezing. This is better than a calendar. Well, the Shutterfly is nice if it's last minute. I have one of those at my desk because it was last minute for myself, but it's good also to start. I'm not getting things very straight. It's good to start at the beginning of the year, and that's what we did last year. And then we got really every month we got side. Hey, Kara Martin. Every month last year there was something happening that threw us off. The retreats were wonderful, but the broken legs were not. And then we had some other things thrown in the mix. So 2020 is going to be great, even though it was great this year. Oh, that's the wrong piece. Remember, your pattern paper goes on top of the other. And I think, yeah, I may have cut that wrong. I did. But it's going to be decorated, so it'll be okay. Janice, is it cold up at the farm yet? Is it sure cold down here? And here we are heading to Vermont in just a couple of weeks for the last retreat of 2019. And it's going to be so cold. Oh, yes. I fell down the stairs, Robin. Janice was here. It was right after a retreat. And I just tumbled down the stairs to my studio. And I broke my ankle and my knee. But hey, it didn't stop me. That's for sure. It terrified some of the ladies that were here from the retreat that were staying. Oh, Janice, that's a rough life. So I'm going to use the pumpkin side. And don't forget, even though we're live now, it stays recorded so that you can access the measurements. Just go ahead and start stacking things. Give us some working room here. Yep, the coffee cups, though, you're right, Janice. They didn't break. There was coffee everywhere. Try to get them on straighter than I am. Yeah, we did. We got some firefighters here fast. Now, this does have somewhat of a direction because there are some letters. Aren't those, though, the prettiest pumpkins you've seen? Oh, this one. There we go. Yeah, it was really cold here last night, too. My mattress warmer went on, and Wilbur, he went under the covers. No, they actually weren't the good looking ones with no shirt on, Linda. They had everything on. Hi, Bunny. Yeah, today was a busy day. I don't know where the time went. Next thing I knew, it was time to start our live show. Yeah, and they were kind of little. They were all young, but they were so nice. I can't get a hold of it. There we go. And one more. These calendars are really cute. You put them in your frame on an easel, like in your living room or anywhere, your office. They really do. They're really pretty. And you know what? The paper is so pretty. And then your handiwork is so, everything is so pretty, right? But you make things, you need to display them. And you need to let people see what it is that you do. I did show on Instagram, I really do have the things I make hanging up. I have the fall banner from YouTube here. If I don't give them away, then I always do display them. They're down here in my studio. And speaking of giveaways, so Country Craft Creations is on Instagram, and you're going to want to go follow us on Instagram because I'm going to be giving away, when you see the new calendar line, the whole calendar line collection. So over this weekend, for those of you that do have an Instagram, you want to check us out, Country Craft Creations on Instagram, because I'm going to be giving away a complete calendar line collection. Okay. The main thing, like I mentioned, is to keep everything lined up. But bring everything in because remember, it's going to go inside of a 12 by 12 frame. And then after we get everything down, we'll do the decorating. Your calendar, remember, it was a little different size, but it wasn't a different size enough that you would notice it. So what we have to do now is line our pieces up just like a puzzle. So we might have to bring things down a little bit. Trying to keep it all a little bit asymmetrical here. Hopefully. If not, then make sure when you off center one of them that it's in the center here. And it just takes some playing with. Yes, I post on Instagram, and so does we have an Instagram account for Country Craft Creations, and there is also an Instagram for Wilbur the Beagle. Like I said, this takes a few minutes to play with it because you want it to look good to the eye. So this one's going to be more centered between those two, and this one will be centered between those two. But we'll keep the outer edges pretty even if possible. So I'm going to start right at the top. Oh yeah, Sandy will be working also on a project. Okay, make sure you kind of line it up there. Janice, you are one smart cookie. You can do it. Whoops, where'd you guys go? Instagram's really simple. All you do is, you have to do it from your phone. You can't do it from the computer. Just download it on your phone. Give a shout out. Anybody would be able to help you. Okay, I'm going to leave this calendar to last. And the reason being, if I get something off-centered, the calendar, then I'll move it to fill in the space. But I'm going to leave it there. Better leave it there. I'm lining the edge basically up with the top one here. So that this edge goes down straight. Then this is going to be even here with this bottom one. So if you find that your calendar is a little odd shaped or something back there, some of my past calendars, you can go on and look. We added a doily back behind there. So now I'm keeping this straight, this straight. So now the line stays pretty straight. I think you can download it on your phone too. Let's see, my calendar's a little off. And that's okay. I'm going to add an embellishment there to even it up. You know, and the only reason I've got Instagram also is there's not enough. I mean, there's a lot of people that aren't on Facebook. I don't know, Janice. Do you think we should do another? We should keep it going? Because if I do, then I'll probably do it on the calendar pages from Authentique. Okay, now we get to decorate. The fun thing is the embellishments with Simple Stories. That's one reason I really like Simple Stories. They do have an awful lot of embellishments. Those are just some 2x2s I had cut. But I want to dump these out for you so we can take a look here. So I've already used a lot of the chipboards. I'm going to lay some out here. The chipboards I've already used, and I used the lettering here. So they're gone. And, you know, and that's one reason with embellishments, I tell everybody, make sure you get two. You need to get 2 packages of the embellishments. And when I cut the 2x2s from the 12x12, I just throw them in the bag. So here's some of the leftover chipboard elements. I'm separating them from all the leaves here and the butterflies. So there's a lot in the ephemera pack. They have a couple of different ephemera packs. This one was all the florals and leaves and just really pretty things to use. Yes to the 2020. Okay, well, then we'll do it. So I'm going to go ahead and follow suit here a little bit with what we have left. There'll be some differences, of course. Who loves pumpkin spice? Me. So we've changed these guys. And I changed this one, but I did have to cut off the word autumn. So I'm going to actually take So Splendid and cover that up. So my chipboard covers up the wording that I did cut off. And it doesn't look too terrible, but it looks nicer that way. And I always like to add something here to the bottom of the calendar. Pumpkin spice, because I love pumpkin spice. And now our leaves. So these are really awesome to use. Oh, yes, Janice, I do know you like pumpkin scones. And I saw your post on Facebook. So let's go ahead and do some layering here. Right now, I'm just going to lay them down before I make them permanent. So when we do our calendars, that's one thing you kind of have to put up with me with, is laying things out. Because I never pre-plan these. Well, sometimes I do. Isn't that terrible? We definitely see now the butterfly, he's going to cover up my shortage there. And I do have some of the sticker sheets to use. They're just beautiful. Everything about this collection is just gorgeous. But we're going to break into this is the Fall Farmhouse. This is Fall Splendor. But the colors work really well together. Oh, wouldn't that be fun if we were all together just having a themed craft party? And yes, pumpkin scones. Okay, love the farm fresh. That's got to come off of there, right? And I already have the word fall, farm days. And then also I wanted to show you this. Sometimes in our calendars we'll have spaces that we need to fill in. So your chipboards are great fill-ins and great layers. And they also hide your boo-boos. There's not a boo-boo there. I just really like it. And I also love this wreath. And the banner. So these pieces just make it really nice and quick to put these together. And then the personality, definitely. See how it just changes and starts coming to life? These are chipboard pieces. These are our leaves. So we do have a lot of different colors going on. Tanya, if you were here by me and you're not that far, I'd never let you go home. I love crafting with you. I've had the honor of crafting with you at what, three retreats now. Tanya is so talented. Extremely talented. So we're kind of, wow. I love the leaves and stuff, but where I've got to bring some more leaves in here. You definitely get your money's worth with these. And I know there's quite a few of you out there who are customers that have already bought this collection. And then we're going to go ahead and get everything laid down. Oh, but one thing to remember, you can't go too thick if you're going to use glass. So if your frame has glass on it, you do have to remember that. So I am getting a little crazy here with wanting to get everything bumped up, and I've got to watch it. So let's go ahead and add a couple of our sticker sheets from our sticker sheet. And don't be afraid to go outside of your frame. Connie, what these are is, we've been doing this for the last year, but I've been doing them over on Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations. And now that I've decided to try it out live here, well, we are continuing working on the last of our calendars. We've been doing these for over a year now. Well, almost a year now. Not quite. And so that's what we're doing. And I knew it would throw some of you guys off because you haven't known about us, which I don't know why. I've been around now for 5 years. And right now we're getting caught back up. So that's one of the chipboard pieces. I didn't do September, and I'm catching everybody back up. So I'm sorry. This one, I will be starting over again with the 2020. And we make a monthly calendar. Now, sometimes, see, that whole thing comes off and I just take it off. I'm not going to mess with it. Add your art glitter glue. But these are also fabulous to add to a 12 by 12 scrapbook. But we've got September, and it is for 2019, but that's okay because I want one from every year that we did. No, Connie, I won't be live every night. It just happened this way because I needed to get caught up. No, it won't be an every night thing. It'll only be Thursday nights. And if there's a special project I'm doing or our craftology kit, then yes. Nope, I couldn't do every night because we're also shipping. I help in the warehouse some days. We have a lot going on during the day. You know Mary Jane. She's right here in Utah, Kara. She was at the Utah retreat. Oh, and she was on the cruise. Yeah, no. I couldn't do this every single night. So the chipboard, like I said, it does have the sticky side, but I don't trust it to be forever. And our design team members are all over YouTube. So I have them all listed on the website. If you go to countrycraftcreations.com, design team members are listed, and there's 13 of them. All their tutorials are free for you to follow. We're definitely going to need some pumpkins here at the bottom. Hopefully, oh, there we go. Some more to our pumpkin patch. So when you're using the stickers, go ahead, overlap them. They don't have to be you don't have to put them out separately. You've got plenty of little pumpkins. Here we go. I wish there was a white one. And I kind of got low. So some of them might be hidden in the frame, and that's okay. And pumpkin spice is going to go on the calendar, and our September is finished. Now, when I put my frame on here, it might be a little bulky, but I think it'll be okay. So to give you an idea, I always show, especially those of you that follow me, you know I always show the two different looks. But I'm going to show you how to use glossy accents. And if you're not familiar with glossy accents, or you've heard it, but you just don't know what it is, this is what it is. And then also, this is the glitter markers. We do have them, the fall colors. This one's Sweet Apricot, and it's available at Country Craft Creations. And all I'm going to do is go over this leaf. I'll be using it on the Halloween one. It does need to dry when you do it on the embellishments here. Mostly I wanted it to add texture, the look of some texture, because it changes into just glitter once it dries. But your glossy accents, so this is now going to have to sit flat. It won't take long to dry. Very simple to use, and I know a lot of you have asked. I had to make sure it was there. All you have to do is, it's just like coloring, and it'll be milky. And then it will dry clear. So practice if you're not sure on a scrap. And then just, I'm not even squeezing now, I'm just smoothing it out. And it's going to go from that. No, the base of this one is brown. I used our brown cardstock. See how it's clear? Right now it's milky. And so that means it needs to sit. And one thing you want to do is use your glossy accents on anything that you want to highlight. So such as this acorn. But you need to let this dry overnight. Some people, I mean, it'll dry sooner. I let them dry overnight. It's the last thing I do. Okay. A couple places just to accent it. Oh, let's do the center of the wood. And once you start using it and you're not afraid of it, it's really fun. Very simple. Tamara, please make sure that you mark September for my birthday, please. Oh, your birthday is coming up. I sure will. Okay, there's September. And see how fun this is? And it's a wonderful keepsake. Also, it's a keepsake of the beautiful paper, because the papers are so gorgeous. And it's really fun to have these to look back on. And I'm going to go lay this down flat and move it away from my desk. And then we're going to do October. Okay, that one's going to dry. Now to give you an idea. Oh, bye, Sandy. This was last year's April. Oh, no, it's this year. Sorry, this is April. And this one was March. So I usually do two. I make one and then I make another because my daughter usually gets the second one, but I got behind on hers also. So see the different orientation of the calendars? One's horizontal, more horizontal, and one's vertical. And then you can just put them in your notebooks or wherever you want to keep them. But now we're going to go to October. Okay. The only thing is I need to put some of this away. So I just got some of the new embellishment boxes today. And I can just pop everything in here really quick and we can move on. Because if I don't do this, I'll end up ruining it or throwing it in the garbage or one of the three. Everything over. Okay. All set for next time. Okay. This one I did a little bit different. Yes, I'm playing catch up. This one is the new Authentic calendar line. And the back, I just used chipboard. Actually, this was from the back of a paper pad. And I have more. So I mounted this on chipboard because I did not do a double mounting of this. I couldn't get things to fit properly. So I thought, well, we're just going to put this on chipboard. Lightweight chipboard. And I used this sheet. This is from the October new calendar line collection, but I want to show you, I did use some of these. So in the calendar line collection, you have your main images. You have your sentiments. So the sentiments does have another calendar. It does. I love my spatulas. And it has cute little sayings. So if you want to put them on treat bags, you certainly can. Then you do have your patterns and plaids. So you can use that one. But I'm just using, this is the solid for October. One side is orange, one side is black. I'm using the black because I'm matting with ivory. The orange, there was just too much orange. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is cut this off, and I'm going to make sure my paper is 12 by 12. And I'm going to cut my calendar. By 12. And our calendar, I did cut off the October because I'm using the October from the top of this calendar piece. So let's just line this up. Remember, again, these are free to print, free to use. You can keep those if you want, or you can throw them away. They're so easy to print. And I do cut off the dark solid line. And these come in handy for so many projects. And then we're going to cut out these guys. I did not triple mat this one because the Authentic paper is also the Authentic paper is that I sell in my store. I only buy the textured, and it's nice and heavy, and see the back is really nice too, so you have different options to use. We're going to be cutting out these images, or you can use different ones, of course. So the best thing to do is just basically cut all the images off. I do, Connie, in Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations, and I know you're a member now. I have all the 2020 calendars there. They're all made and ready for you to print, and they look exactly the same. Just remember that I've printed mine on a craft cardstock. It's a lightweight cardstock. So here's 2020. They're all ready to go. I did those back in July, and they're yours to use. If you can't find them on Scrapbookers, just holler out. Someone will help you. We are making the October calendar layout that we've been doing all year. So if you just joined us, I know it's confusing because it's kind of confusing to me too. Because I feel like, gosh, on Scrapbookers, everybody just knew what I was doing, right? You have two images that will work here. This one, or I call it the Norman Rockwell. They're both really cute. But I went with this one, and I think I'll do that again too. But I'm going to take these two bottom ones. We're going to cut those guys in half. I love the silhouettes. And I need the spider, so I need the spider and the bottom one. These are going to make some beautiful cards. Is October your birthday month? That's my daughter's birthday month too. In fact, her birthday's coming up very soon. I need to tell you, I cut these down. It's 4 by 6. I'm cutting it down 1/8 of an inch. So I took 1/8 of an inch off one side and then off the bottom. We may trim it a little bit more. And then we also need to cut now from what they call, this one's called the sentiments. And on countrycraftcreations.com, these are all there. So I am going to use this piece. I'm using the postage stamps, 2 of them, and the haunted house. And they're all pretty cute. Oh, I forgot her. I forgot the little girl. And we're going to cut her down too. But we'll do that in just a moment. And this little bottom one. So I'll cut it in half. I'm going to cut out. A lot of times when I get my cut aparts, I will cut apart one of the sheets. And the nice thing with this, if you buy the collection kit, you get 3 sheets of each design. So you'll get 3 of these. So you have plenty to work with. And if you buy the paper pads, you also get 3 of each, I believe. Now the jumbo paper pad is only 1 of each, but it's huge. It's every single month. So let's get out our haunted house here. And let's just trim all the excess that you need to trim off. So your collection packs, you can buy each month separate. Hi, I'm glad you made it. Oh, you know what? I need to show you, Creative Crafty Dreamer, how to make your pets talk. And I'll show you. It's actually an app you have to pay for, but it's not an expensive app. So pick out whatever saying that you want. It doesn't have to be the same one that I use, because you have so many to choose. Oh no, I killed my house. Okay, I didn't realize I left it in there. So we're going to use the ghost. I need to pay attention. This is available now. It's on the website, Mary Jane. I had it first. Living by the warehouse has its advantages. And also being there the day it comes in has another advantage because I threw a fit. It was like, I want it now. And they let me have it. Okay. Now when I cut, I'll show you the tag. I left the orange around, but I did cut it down to the black on the top and bottom. Okay, let's get a couple of postage stamps. Whichever ones you want. You just want 2 of them. Here's the spider and the pumpkin. I think I'll just go with them. Make sure you get those in the center unless you are really good at cutting those out or you have the blade for it. See, they're going to overlap. Or if you want to get rid of that creepy spider, you definitely can. So we have everything cut that we need. Now let me give you the sizes for the ivory. The reason I'm giving you these sizes, we're going to have to cut these down. That's what happens when making these. You have to cut it to fit your square. And on this, you definitely need about 1/8 of an inch on each side because it's going to be in your calendar. So this is one thing I taught. If you need to have a visual, then go ahead and put this in your scoreboard and go ahead and score at 1/8 of an inch all the way around, because that's going to go on the inside of your frame. And if you need that as a reminder, there you go. If that helps, it's hard to see. But now that kind of gives you your guidelines of where to put your stuff. So we have the 3 that are going to go across the top. And the center one is a little bit different. And I'll show you why. Spider needed him in the corner. But see what I mean? They just won't fit. So I chose to cut this one down, and we're going to cut all the black off. So go ahead and put it in your cutter. And I want you to cut the black off on the sides, right to the ivory, where you see that ivory starts. Now on the black, I just put it inside my cutter. I left just a tiny bit at the top. Our store is countrycraftcreations.com. Oh, thank you, Linda. It's the name of my YouTube also. So now this is going to fit better, but we are going to take these guys down just a hair. So one thing when you're looking at your cut apart, we have more at the top than the bottom. So let's just put it in there to 1/8 of an inch. And now on this side, I'm taking it to 1/4 of an inch off. And 1/4 of an inch is just this first line. Oh yeah, I just go by Tammy or Tamara. So we want to make this one about the same size. And I'm going to give you the measurement now that I have cut them down. So this little cut apart now measures 3 3/4 by almost 2 7/8. It's a little short. This one measures 2 3/4 by 3 5/8. So this one needs to measure what this one did. So it needs to be 3 3/4 long, and then it needs to be 2 7/8 wide. That's what we're going to do. I'm just going by my markings. And now see how it will fit inside of our perimeter. So we have 3 pieces of cardstock in ivory. We have 2 that measure 3 7/8 by 3. And those are the 2 outside pieces. Then the center one, now basically the center one has to be this size to fit. So when you put your cut apart here, if you want more border, then just go ahead and let's cut this down a little bit. Just put it right where your cutter, there we go, in the center. It needs to fit this ivory piece. And then you can adjust your borders. And it is just a hair smaller than the others on purpose. And that's what that will look like. Then we have our October. And the way I've measured this is it needs to fit on a piece of cardstock that is 6 inches long by 1 7/8 wide. So we have some room on here to trim down our October so that it looks nicer with the border. Again, I just put it in my cutter and take off about a 1/16 of an inch. And it's a little off. There we go. And I'm going to take it off of this end because there's more. There's more of a blank area to take it from. And there we go. Going to fit now. My October. And I did have my haunted house, but now my little ghost will go there. And my 2 postage stamps will be filling in that spot. So we want to make sure that our ghost will fit on a 2 1/8 by 2 1/8, 2 1/8 by 2 1/8. Should fit perfect because he's about 2 by 2. No, they don't extend out. It's just I've got them pushed. Sorry. They're just kind of sitting here. Nope, they don't extend out. They're still within that 1/8 of an inch border. They're the exact same size as these guys. Now our 4 by 6 cut apart, I mentioned, oh, guess what? I don't have to cut it down. I cut it off enough. This is 4 by 6. This ivory piece is exactly 4 by 6. So your cut apart should be 5 7/8 by 3 1/4 or 3 3/4. So 3 3/4 wide, 5 7/8. This is 4 by 6. Now this is where, let me show you. I always put my big pieces down first. And this is where we fill in if we need to. Those are going to go right up to that border. And I'll have to trim my border on this just a little bit to make it fit better. So the calendar is going to sit here. And it measures 3 3/4 by 3 5/8. It's not the one. So you need a piece of cardstock that's going to be 3 1/2 wide by 3 3/4 long. 3 1/2 by 3 3/4. I always cut these pieces first and I make my puzzle. Then I go back and I see what embellishments or cut aparts will fit. And then that's why we have to cut them down. Because see, even though I wanted to leave that full size, I couldn't. So that's why I know it has to be this size to fit right here. So we have to cut our cut aparts down in order to fit our cardstock. And the cardstock measures 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I need this to measure 3.5 by 3.5, but it's 4. So that tells me in order to get it 3.5, let me open this up, and to keep it symmetrical, and most of you probably already know this. See, if I cut my 3.5 here, well, it's off balance. So I'm going to take this to, we know this is 4. So I'm going to take this side to 3 3/4, remove that little piece, turn it around, and now you can cut it at 3.5. And your sides are nice and even. And again, 3 3/4. You know, I thought I was cutting that crooked, and now I think it got printed a little bit off. And I'm going to turn it to this side and cut it at 3.5. We still have a little bit of border, but it's going to be the same all the way around. Fits nice. Now it's going to fit right into that little spot. Things will fit a little bit different as we get more moving here. So we have our cut apart that's going to fill in the space. Let me make sure this is the right one. It is. And it measures 2 1/8 by 3 1/8. So it's 3 1/8 by 2 1/8. We'll get everything lined out. And so we have another piece that's going to be 2 1/8 and 3 1/8 for our little saying, because that's what I knew I needed to have to fill up that space. Now that is from the sticker sheet from Twilight. Hi, Darlene, I'm glad you made it. So this is the sticker sheet, but you may not have it. So the sticker sheet from Twilight went really well with this collection. But you can also fussy cut, or you can use some of the things from your cut aparts if you want. I'll be using from the sticker sheet to fill in this cute little area, or gosh, you can do a ton of different things. So let's go ahead and grab our ink. We're going to do the same process. Sorry, I have to do this to the side because brand new sponge, they're not lasting as long as they used to. We're going to just ink all these edges. So inking the edges also takes away any look if you had cut off your border. These guys, definitely I'll do them last because I know I'm going to have to cut them down. Well, good, Kara. Happy birthday. You get a calendar for your birthday. Now the ghost. I really tried to make this using this year. I just couldn't get it to fit. And that's kind of why for some of you, you were waiting and waiting and waiting. And I know I kept putting off the calendar because I was really trying to get the whole calendars to fit in this. And I finally just said, no, it's not going to work. I got to quit even trying. Now, one thing I like about this paper, I can be kind of messy with my inking because it's Halloween. No, you're not. Are you off work, Kara? I'm hungry. I want to go up. I need to eat after I'm done. Hi, Sherry. How are you? We'll do the pumpkins and our little postage stamp after we get everything laid down. So let's do the same thing. We want to just put our mats down on, or our pattern paper down on our mats. And if you did just join us, I do have these written down. I still have to figure out how to get the measurements to you on YouTube. Like I do on scrapbookers. Oh, this one is the sepia, but you can use black. On Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations, I am going to post all these measurements because I do have them written down. And I showed last night in the tutorial for our little album that get a notebook. I mean, I write everything down. I write everything down. And I suggest, the same thing. Maybe you could have a little notebook at your desk that it just says tutorials. Thank you. You have a great weekend too. Yes, that's a good idea. I wanted to get them to you guys before I go live, but the show's not available till after I go live. So yeah, I can add them to, I definitely can do that and put them in the comment box on the main, back on the page. And I'll also put them on Scrapbookers for those of you that are on Facebook, because I know some of you aren't. And I've been asked to please go to YouTube Live. But I've been kind of like a chicken. I don't know why. I just have felt safe at Scrapbookers because it's our own little group and we know each other. But I think this is great. Facebook just wasn't working so well anymore. I think they have too many people going live and they're not able to handle the traffic as well as they have done in the past. No, my Country Craft Creations Facebook page is the store page, and our Scrapbookers of Country Craft Creations is our group, and it's where our design team members will post when they put tutorials on on YouTube, and they post their designs, or you can post as long as you've used a designer's tutorial, my tutorial, or product from Country Craft Creations. We post our finished projects there so that you can see what everybody's doing. And until last night, I was doing all the live tutorials there, but now I'm doing them here. And I still will be doing Authentique Live on Tuesdays. Okay, for your advent calendar, I did make a list. I have the boxes. They will ship out Wednesday. So I made the advent cube like 3 years ago, and I'm going to be remaking it. So you'll need the drawers. You need some rubber bands because the rubber bands will help hold the boxes together as they're drying. You need some E6000 glue. It's really strong. And then you want I'm going to be using the Tim Holtz Countdown brads, and I do have them in my store at Country Craft Creations. I'm going to use them for the drawer pulls. But for the drawer pulls, you can use little wooden knobs. You can use buttons. And you just glue those right on because you need a drawer pull. Then you're going to want 6 pieces of chipboard. We have to make 3 bases. And then you want 3 sheets of lightweight chipboard. Now I sell lightweight chipboard and heavy chipboard at countrycraftcreations.com. And then you want your favorite Christmas paper. And I know, hi Kelly Green, I know that you have your choice. I mean, I know everybody has Christmas scrapbook paper. Now I'm going to be using the new Simple Stories Country Christmas. Thank you, Marnie. And that's important. I'm glad you guys are loving it because as long as you love it, I'm going to craft with you because I love, as you can tell, you guys really can't talk. You can comment, but I love to talk. And I work in the warehouse and here all day. We ship orders, but I just absolutely love having you guys to craft with. Okay, let's do some laying out here. I put my spiders up here in the corner. My spider. Because that just looks like where he belongs. My silhouette will go over here. Now remember to keep down from that line. Jackie, not Jackie, are you still out there, Janice Donahue? Doesn't that look just like Sally? Now come on, you know it does. Okay, your 4x6. Remember, we made that 1/8 at the bottom, so let's bring this down to that line. Bring our October in the center. Your chipboard pieces are going to be 6.5 by 6.5, and you want 6 of those. We are doubling them. And then you'll need the lightweight chipboard, and I really don't have the measurements because I won't have them until we put it together. Okay. Remember, we're just we're trying to keep things symmetrical as possible. So that it looks great to the eye is what you're looking for. And then our postage stamp here is going to fill in that spot. So we'll put this down last. Well, for the base, I know, Marnie, I'm sorry, but I love Sally. You could use medium weight chipboard on the cubes, but for the base and the center, you don't want it to smash in. So you really do need the heavier weight chipboard. It's the medium weight chipboard that I sell. The medium weight and it's the same thing that we use for our books. Okay, let's start here on the left. I know it's not fair. I shouldn't pick on Sally when she's not here. Okay, 1/8 of an inch from there and 1/8 of an inch from the top. That'll be sufficient when it's in our frame. And we're going to do the 2 sides first. It is free entertainment. I'm glad you see it my way because she picks on me a lot on Facebook. Yeah, she's alive. I'm sure she's just out. It's either somebody's birthday or somebody's getting married or she's watching a show. She probably is taking the opportunity, yes. Now, remember, that is just a little bit smaller, but minute amount. You won't see it, and it had to be smaller to fit in that space. I know, Janice, but we're going to see each other, some of us, pretty soon. In a couple weeks, we'll all be in Vermont. We'll be in Vermont at our last retreat of the year. Can you believe it? It seems like we were just starting the year. It's totally crazy. Okay, let's get things laid back down here. This one was a little bit off because it was just odd shapes to work with, but I was really happy with it. So I brought these three here together, these three. Across this top. So we're going to move these guys and we're going to go ahead and put these down. I need to turn the heat on. It's getting cold down here. Oh, I know. Next year, we'll be here before we know it. Which I'm happy for, but Mr. Wilbur is... He must have gone upstairs and sleeping. I don't know. He's awful quiet, I know. Let's add our calendar. Okay, it's going to put, there we go, for spacing. For your Advent, it needs, well, 6 by 6 is too small, so you do want 6 by 8, or you're going to want 12 by 12. Oh, Marnie, that's really cold. So this is now centered on the calendar. But see how my calendar is? So this kind of follows down from the brown. This is going to sit right over here. It's a little bit closer. And unless you go through and mark these with a pencil, you're never going to get them exact. I always say use your 12 by 12 paper. You probably could make 6 by 6 work, but you won't have enough. I don't think. He's been naughty today. He's probably pouting for a lot of reasons. He chewed up his daddy's hose out back. So he's in trouble. I heard, Tanya, that you guys got snow yesterday. That's crazy. Okay, right on the edge, even with the bottom. Like I said, this one, the pieces didn't quite fit, and my calendar's crooked. You probably already noticed that. But I'll give this one to my daughter. How's that? Oh, well, guess who's back down here? Wilbur. Little ghost, so I'm just kind of centering him there. Now, let's see. These guys are what I call fill-ins. See, they're going to be too big. So I want to trim it down to the postage stamp decoration edge there. And I'll do the pumpkin. Well, he probably did hear you calling him. I know a lot of you have different names on YouTube than on Facebook. So how many of you are on Facebook also? Or are you just YouTube? Just out of curiosity. Well, I know Tanya's on Facebook, Bunny, a lot of you. Much better fit, much better fit. There we go. Now I don't have the stickers that I used. I used from the Twilight line. The only sticker I used was here, and then I did these little guys, and I added it to the calendar. So what I don't want to have to get up and go find it and walk out on you guys again. So I'm going to use the postage stamp again. Maybe not. Let's use the words. We have these words we can cut apart. So I'm going to use the word October 31st. I'll show you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to put it across there. But I'm going to turn it into a flag piece by cutting up the center and then corner to center. And I have some enamel dots. These are left over from the Simple Stories Disney line. So I'm going to use the black because this won't get in the way of the frame. I do too. I like the fact that I can see everybody's comments, Tanya, on Facebook. I was losing everybody's comments. I'm going to hold that down for a second. Once again, I'm going to show you. So see the difference in the, well, I don't know if you can see the difference in the hair of the sparkle. So that's where I took our, this one is Sweet Apricot. And I did the ribbon on her hat, just using it as a marker. It's so cool. So it's almost like your Wink of Stella, but it has more color to it. And it does add that shine. And then I did the kitty's bow. So it's going to take it from flat to a little bit more dimensional. And I just did the witch's hair. I added highlights. So we're just adding some highlights, and we're beautifying Sally. To make it all nice and shiny. My Wink Estella, it's running. It really is running out. Let's see. I have a clear. I have 2 clears. Let's see if this one is better. I don't have Wink Estella in the store right now because they haven't had it for a while for me to order. But you want to just see how it comes out sparkly, and it dries almost instantly. So we're just going to write just like we're writing. Let me squeeze that some more. And whoa, it soaks in, so you really don't have to worry if you do like I just did. I have a big glob there because it dries. It's water-based, really water-based. So when that dries, because you can definitely notice it, and there's not a lot I can do. I'll probably do the C with the glitter pen or something like that. But you can definitely take your Wink Estella anywhere you want the glitter to show. If you have never used Wink Estella, I know it's hard for you to see what it's doing. It's basically like you're doing water. So this is water. It's like water-based, and it just has a sparkle. And then what happens is it will dry. And it'll just look sparkly. And I'm not sure you can even see that, but I can see it from my end, of course. Then we're going to take this again. So you've got, sorry, just excuse me a moment. What have you got? What have you got? Well, one of the grandkids no longer has a ring pop because Wilbur ate it. So I want to use my Wink Estella, my glossy accents. Make sure it comes out on my spider. And it's like doodling. You're just going to outline anywhere you want to accent your little spider. I don't always like to do eyeballs with it because I think it makes them look creepy. Sometimes I will, but a lot of times they look creepy. Do their Halloween buckets. Anything you want to pop. And bring more attention to. Or where the cut apart is all silhouette. We're just going to accent their cute little bags. You could also take a white pen. It would be really cute to write maybe your grandkids' names in there. You can write their names, let it dry, and glossy accent on top of it. Work those bubbles out. I usually don't worry about getting all the bubbles out because it's going to happen, but now it'll dry clear. We're going to let it sit where it's warm. And yay, we're caught up. We're caught up. So that one I did exactly like this one, basically. And we are done with September and October. And I feel like finally now I've got you guys caught up that are in the process of making these. And I'm sorry we got behind, but we have now fixed that little problem. And we will be back on schedule for the 23rd of October. So write this down. The 23rd of October, we're going to be making, it's a Wednesday, November's and possibly December's. We're just going to get them both done. And yes, I will go ahead and use the November and December paper collection from Authentique. Since it's our calendar line, it'll be really cool to use. And there it is. Thank you, everybody. I hope you guys are enjoying the live YouTubes. And let me know if I need to do something different. I know that the times are going to change back in November. Oh, yeah, the day after your birthday. Oh, are you? Okay, you're the same name? Cool. That's good to know. You're welcome, Bunny. Get your snops right. No, we don't scrapbook and drink because we make mistakes. In fact, when we drink wine and scrapbook, we just want to visit, right? Thank you, everybody, and I will see you next time we're live, which will be next Thursday on YouTube. Tuesday will be on the Authentique paper page on Facebook.